At the last Camera Club meeting, I learned about a program that can recreate and emulate the look of classic vintage film. The name of the program is Film Pack 7, and it installs on Windows 10, 64-bit, and Windows 11. It finds your Lightroom directory, and once the program is installed, you can edit your photos through Lightroom. So I'm going to try out the program. I was told to give it a try and do a show and tell at the next Camera Club meeting, and I'll be happy to do that. The program does cost $150, so I'm going to find out if it's actually better than the presets that come with Lightroom. There are other ways to get that look that you're looking for, you know, if you're looking for a vintage camera film. But I'm going to give this program a try, and then after I do that, I'll come back and have some closing remarks on what I found. DxO Film Pack 7 advertises that they have a team of researchers that have spent years to faithfully recreate vintage film types. So I'm going to find out with about 9 pictures that I've taken myself, and then I can decide if I'm going to use this program in the future. Film Pack comes with its own directory of sample photos. That's a good place to start. You can find out what the program can do, learn how to use the program. Here it's choosing different film types so you can compare looks, see how it can apply to your own photos. Within the Lightroom catalog, I'll choose a photo and edit a copy with Film Pack. And it's a picture I took a couple of days ago on the corner of Abbey and Sheffield. And I'm going to use some color film called Elite Color 200. Do a side-by-side comparison. And it looks like it gives a better sky rendition than my original digital picture. So I will try to add a frame to this. I think that's what I'm going to try to do. An outside frame, outside border white frame. That way you don't lose any of the photo. There's no cropping. It's an outside frame. There's the white border. And I think I need to make sure it's on the outside so I don't crop into the light pole. And I could save that image. And here's a picture of my lunch from yesterday. I sent the photo to my Facebook friend, and he said, "Are you crazy? Where's the meat?" So I had to send him another photo of my Burger King 2-for-1 Whopper coupon. So I'm going to choose Fuji Sensia 100 film, because I'd like to see how this is going to look as a slide. And I'll do a side-by-side comparison, and I can see that the current image now is a little softer, a little brighter in color. I think I'll go ahead and use that. You can use Film Pack 7 as a standalone program. It's not necessary to use Lightroom to import your pictures. It works well on its own. Here's a picture of the backyard fountain, and I'm going to go with a color negative film, Reala 100. We're going to compare that side by side again, the original image compared to the current image. Current image has a different look altogether, but I'll go ahead and use that. And now I'm going to modify this photo. I'm going to crop it to 120 film size, so there'll be a 1:1 to give me a square image. I'll have to apply that effect. This is King's Skate Country in Franklin, built in 1947 from two Quonset huts side by side. I'm in Film Pack 7 presets, and I'm looking for Kodachrome 64. And I think I've found it. There it is, and I'll apply that. This Victorian house is the Busher House on Bilby Road in the city of Franklin. It was in a different location. Franklin used to be called Georgetown. Originally it was a church on the lower floor and a schoolroom on the upper floor. And then Dennis Busher brought it here to this location and restored it. So I'm using a print film, Delta 400, it's Ilford, and I'm going to try to do a vignette on this. I know there are some people in the camera club that like vignettes, so I'm going to try creative vignetting, and I'm going to have to increase the intensity a little bit and also make adjustments to the roundness so that the vignette is not so obvious. And once I do that, I'll do a side-by-side comparison again. And the current image is showing vignetting. And I'll go ahead and save that. This was a vertical shot of the same Victorian house. In Film Pack, I'm in Time Machine mode, 1920s, and I'm going to choose a film style by the French photographer Eugene Atget, whose mission was to photograph all the architectural styles of Paris before the modernization. So I'm going to choose that format. It's already formatted for 127 film, square format. Apply the effect and see how it looks. Before I get started on this vertical photo taken at the Franklin Cemetery, I need to apply an outside border white frame. I've got an idea in mind, but I'm going to need a frame for this. My idea is to use the Tri-X 400 black and white film. So now that I've got the frame, I'm going to be in Film Pack's Time Machine mode again. This time 1940s, and what I'm looking for is Ansel Adams' zone system. So I didn't use the zone system so much, but I did like to shoot for 18% middle gray, and then my blacks and whites would appear like they should have with all the grays in between. So I'm going to check this out. Ansel Adams has always been one of my favorite, if not the favorite photographer. You know, I liked this so much I'm going to do it again with another vertical picture from the Franklin Cemetery. Before we moved here, and we were on our second house hunt, And the realtor brought us to the cemetery to show us the grave of Alexander Hamilton Willard. Left my wife and me shaking our heads. We really didn't know what the purpose of that was, but okay, here we are back in the time machine mode. Ansel Adams one more time. Then apply the same effect. And this time I'll add the frame afterwards, which is what I'm doing now. A white border outside frame. And there's the white border, and got to make sure it's outside the frame so I don't get cropping. Okay, that looks all right. And now I can move on. I'm in Lightroom now, and I'm going to edit one of my own pictures in Film Pack. This is one of two ways to bring your pictures into that program. The other way would be to use Film Pack as a standalone program. This is a picture of Franklin Boulevard in present-day Franklin. Present day like the day before yesterday. But I'm in time machine mode in Film Pack 7, and I'm looking for Kodachrome 25. And I think I'm getting close. And there it is coming up. I'll choose that. And you know what? That isn't the look that I remember of Kodachrome 25. But for the sake of purposes of this video, I'll go with it anyway. Side-by-side comparison. Yeah, that, like I was saying, my original image is more like what I remember of Kodachrome. Alright, so I'm going to save that. Well, 2 more photos to go. This dilapidated old bench in historic Franklin has seen its better days. The bench is beyond economical repair, the roses need trimming, and my photo could use more punch. So I'm looking for something with higher contrast, maybe more grain. Alright, here's Agfa Ultra 100. Super high saturation, I'd say. But I doubt if I would ever actually use this kind of an effect with my photos, but it would just go against my grain. Groaner! So I'll just use this for the purpose of the video and save that photo. I'm going to choose another Agfa color negative film. On the way home from Franklin, I found a couple of forgotten mailboxes. So the film for this is going to be Agfa Vista 200. And it looks a little more saturated than my original image. A little more vibrant. So I'm going to do a side-by-side again with this. But I do think that I'm going to stick with digital film. I've had my film processed incorrectly. I've had negative film processed with E6. I've had slide film processed with C41. So I've even had film lost in the mail. One of the functions on my last job was that of a beta tester, where we would test new versions of software. And the instructions from management were to try to break it. Well, I didn't have to try too hard, and I'm not the only one to discover it. There's a shortfall. it's not always able to save a photo. Film Pack 7 has a little bit of a problem saving photos. If you edit your pictures through Lightroom, there's a better chance. You can possibly save the photos you're editing the program. But if you're using Film Pack 7 as a standalone program, there's a hit and miss chance of not getting your photos saved. So that's the one thing that I discovered. But the program's like an encyclopedia as well. It's fun to use and it's inspiring, and because of the program, it inspired me to use the last film camera that I've got, which is the Kodak Pony 135, and a couple of rolls of black and white film that I've got, Tri-X 400. So I'll go out and shoot a roll, thanks to the inspiration that I got from Film Pack 7.